Guthrie! Taxi!
Come on, what are you doing? This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm back. 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. FBI agents conducting search in Catalina foothills relating to Nancy Guthrie search. Well, that doesn't tell me anything. Where the hell are the Catalina foothills? You know, I lived in Arizona, the southwest corner of the state. It looks just like Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood, by the way. Tucson's the southeast corner. I was in the southwest corner. It's about a 2.5-hour drive in between the two. Arizona is a fine place. You had to really stop and think, hey, what month is it anyway? That was the unusual thing about living there. You know, you always are aware of the season when we're here. They don't really have seasons down there. They had snowbirds come. This guy must be thinking, wow, what a weird experience that was. The DoorDash driver from Rio Rica. I looked it up. Rio Rica is the town that he was living in where they arrested the guy temporarily. They detained him and they let him go. Do you know anything? Is this you? And I guess he had all the right answers and they let him go. Just the fact that we have in America a Rio Rica, right? There's a Rio Rica. I never heard of it, but it's right there. It's a flourishing town, 25,000 people, pretty close to the border with Mexico there. What a big, complex state we have. The state of America, the state, you know, our state, our nation's state. I have to say that Fox News, man, you had this reporter who's a nice guy in real life, Trace Gallagher, and he's standing in front of police headquarters, and he says, they just released the SWAT team. The SWAT team has left police headquarters, and they're on their way somewhere. And their lights and sirens are on, and they're going somewhere. Well, I don't think that's particularly helpful. It's one thing if it's a fire. They're going somewhere to put out a fire. But if it's the SWAT team, I don't know. They're going maybe to knock down somebody's door and rescue Nancy Guthrie. And if you're watching the TV, you get the hell out of there, or you kill Nancy Guthrie, or who knows what. There's such a thing as too much information amid all of the coverage. Look, I can go to town on a story like anybody else, right? It's kind of fun. People get obsessed. It's interesting. At the same time, you know, too much. In fact, the one guy who's really super duper sensitive to this is the guy they tell us has no empathy, has no sensitivity. It's President Trump, right? He's always thinking about things that other people don't think about. For instance, the Epstein files. You know, lots of names in those Epstein files. Doesn't mean anything, necessarily. Cut 10 if you don't mind. Cut 10.
I want to release everything. I just don't want people to get hurt. People shouldn't be hurt.
I think he probably wants to make sure that, you know, people that should not be involved or aren't involved are not hurt by something that would be very, very unfortunate, very unfair to a lot of people.
So he may have been talking about Howard Lutnick right there, right? Had lunch and on the up and up. He brought his children, and there are some sick people because I have the email right here. He says, hello, Jeffrey. I'm in the area. Give me the address of your island so I can tell my captain. However, I have a lot of people with me. Another couple, their children, my children, and the captain's children. They range in age from 17 to 9. If you're a sick person, and there are plenty of sick people out there, they read that as they're planning a kiddie porn orgy. But if you're a reasonable person, and maybe you're a parent, you understand, I'm coming with a whole lot of kids. And they're young, and they're adolescent, and we may have different dietary needs. You know, if you're 9 years old or 7 years old, what do you eat? I don't think you eat anything other than hot dogs and chicken fingers, right? There's no other food that exists other than if you're of a certain age. And the kids are going to get bored. They always get bored hanging around the adults. You ever notice that? I remember as a kid, I enjoyed being around the adults. I wanted to ask them questions. I was curious about them. That's a very unique trait. Most kids want nothing to do with your parents' friends. You ever notice that? That's probably a good instinct. But I still blame the phone. Ooh, we have this. The captain of an airliner got arrested. The captain of a great big airliner. And they believe he was running a child trafficking ring. It does happen. But so far, I don't see any smoking gun in these Epstein files.